Alright, it's been a little bit since we've done an Unpopular Opinions video, and today I'm hitting you with Catwoman. Catwoman is one of the most popular characters to come from the wider Bat family, or depending on how you consider her being part of the Bat family or not, she's simply one of the biggest characters to come from the Batman world in general. She's had multiple stints as a villain, a hero, an anti-hero, and I think we've seen so much of the character in the past be one of those types of character archetypes. We've just come to the point where so many of us see Catwoman in our own particular ways. One of the biggest themes I noticed for her in the comments for her Unpopular Opinions is very much so the idea of, should she be a hero or should she be a villain? What should her relationship be with Batman, and should she even be with him in the first place? So with that being said, let's get into some of those topics by looking at some of your comments. The first comment we're going to start with here is Wildcard. Catwoman works better as an anti-hero than a love interest for Batman. She honestly deserves to have her own stuff going on that isn't being Batman's girl. There's easily 40 or 50 comments that get into this conversation. So there's only so many of those comments I can actually read before you guys say, okay, I get the point. Now I'm somewhere in the middle for this, and I actually don't think I have an answer for you. I'm just very 50-50. I'm right on the line. If Catwoman is Batman's love interest, I am absolutely okay with it. If she's not his love interest, I'm also okay with it as well. Because there are so many other characters out there that Batman could be with, but I think why a lot of us get caught up in wanting him to be with Catwoman is because she is the main love interest. Catwoman and Batman is very similar to Lois Lane and Superman. At the end of the day, these two characters will always come back to one another no matter what gets in their path, what gets in the way of their lives. Even if it's 1 year or 5 years, they always end up together at the end of it. But the problem with that is the relationship never truly lasts, no matter how long it takes for them to actually get back together. It's just a recycled process. What I do 100% agree with and know what side I lean on here is the fact that Catwoman does deserve her own stuff, her own stories. I think it was great that back in the pre-New 52, Catwoman was basically the protector of East Gotham. This was even a time in her life where she took on a younger girl and trained her to become Catwoman. She was following those footsteps of how Batman handles Robins. Also at the same time, it's not that she had to answer to Batman, she only answered to herself. It was her decision to take on East End Gotham. And there's a piece of me that still believes that's how we should see Catwoman, and that's the situation she should be in. CrocsFortress. They should just have Batman and Catwoman end up together. Feel like it would be more interesting rather than seeing the will they, won't they drama. Least let her end up with someone so there doesn't need to be more drags and stories. It's too much, guys. It's been going on like this for, what, 80 years? Constant storylines where Batman and Catwoman are together, aren't together, lose each other, break up, cheat, move on. I'm bored of it. I would rather them just not be together in any way and completely move on, or that they do end up with one another and call it a day. The only time Batman and Catwoman have actually solidified their relationship and stayed with each other for good has been Earth 2, and that's not even the canonized continuity. I could probably be missing a couple of characters here, but the only concurrent relationship characters I can think of that have been together, you know, for a long time and don't usually have other interests out there that are so commonly known is Green Arrow and Black Canary. Like, they are the relationship gurus. They're the status that you want. At least that is the version of them that I remember and can think of. But I swear, every everything gets in the way of Batman or Catwoman. They could literally be on the brink of marriage at their wedding day, and one of them will walk away. Catwoman could be pregnant and one of them will walk away. The more I think about it, I wonder if they are a perfect match, but there's just something in their lives that will always keep them from ever truly being with one another, and it might be something that you just have to sit here and understand the reality of it and say, you know what, we may love each other, but the most we'll ever love each other is from a distance because we can't do this. And I think comic book writers just have to finally cut it. They have to end it here because it's too much. Super Johnny. Diana is a better match for Bruce than Selina, but maybe that's the DCAU in me. Don't even worry about that, man, because I am on the same page. I think Batman and Wonder Woman is potentially the best couple in DC Comics. I think Wonder Woman is the best option for Batman romantically, and I think my problem with Catwoman is the relationship is too toxic. Now, I know in the first comment I said I was on the line. I'm 50-50, and I'm still sticking with that because when Catwoman and Batman are together, there is a fun dynamic, and their personalities fit very well together, but also clash in the best way possible. But the issue is this. I believe Diana could truly make Bruce Wayne a better man, Batman a better man. And I'm not saying Catwoman can't do that, but I think we're all far too used to Catwoman simply being the anti-hero. I know there are some of us who like the villain, who like the flat-out hero. Catwoman is a little too stuck in her natural ways. Batman will never, or Bruce Wayne will never be able to course correct, and a relationship between the two just won't work because Batman won't know how to take the relationship seriously. It's come to the point that when they enter a relationship, as happy as they may be together, they gotta know that one day it's just going to end, whether that be tomorrow, next week, or next month. So in a relationship like that, how do you take things seriously? With Catwoman, it's very will they, won't they. And whereas a lot of romantic stories, whether it be comics or anything else out there in other genres, can be cute, it can be fun to watch. Will these two people finally get together? It's come to the point where with Batman and Catwoman, it's boring. And Wonder Woman and Batman, I've always seen as it's not a will they, won't they. It is simply they will. Chidari Kamranali, weird opinion. I think she would work well as a Teen Titan, as an unstable anti-hero in the group rather than a villain. I actually think that's kind of interesting. And whereas I do believe a lot of people would think to themselves, you know, Selina Kyle, why are you making her younger? This is weird. She's always been around the same age as Bruce. She's not a Titan, blah, blah, blah. I think a way you could actually work around that, maybe it's Holly Robinson's Catwoman who joins this Teen Titans group. A girl who has skill just as much as Selina Kyle, but she still has a little more growth. She needs to learn patience and discipline, and maybe she even needs some friends her age. This whole idea that maybe if you look at it from the perspective where Catwoman becomes more Batman-like and starts training someone younger to not take up the mantle of Catwoman, but to work alongside her, maybe that could be a good fit storyline for Holly Robinson. Barnabas Galanti. I like the romantic tension between Batman and Catwoman, but they shouldn't actually become a couple. He is a hero and she is a villain, or an anti-hero or whatever. They should flirt and sometimes kiss, but that's where I put the line. See, problem number one, we still don't know where Catwoman lies. Is she good? Is she bad? Is she a little bit of both? Is she both when she wants to be? I want to be bad today. I want to be good today. I want to go rob a store today. I want to help Batman capture the Riddler today. It's too much back and forth. But still, because so many of these comments follow along the line of her relationship with Batman, I do agree with you. Maybe what this should be is simply Batman saying, this girl is so fine in every way. I can't show my emotions when I'm Batman, but in my head, I'm showing emotions. For Batman, it is a situation of, I want this girl and she's good for me in the moment. But when he looks at the overall scale of his life and where he wants to take his career being Batman, and the fact that Batman often cannot be with people because his job's dangerous, he doesn't let people get too close, and he fears that if he does, what will happen to them if people find out he is Batman. He realizes to himself that Catwoman is a temptation, and it's a temptation he's not willing to open the door open for. Or, like I said earlier, they could fall in love, they could have a fling together, but still at the end of it, it is a realization of, you know what, this isn't gonna work, but I don't regret doing what I did with this person. I don't regret this relationship. NKOTB fan. Catwoman in the Batman trilogy with Christian Bale was good. I just didn't like the way she ended up with Bruce Wayne. LOL. I prefer Wonder Woman and Batman. Just my hot take. Yes, some people don't like the idea of Batman and Catwoman together, as you guys can clearly see from a lot of these comments. What I will say, whereas of course I prefer him with Wonder Woman, I think the way Nolan handled the relationship between Batman and Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises was as perfect as it could have got, because when you think about it, when the film comes to an end, they are together. That's it. We don't have an after story. We don't have a fourth film. We do not have a comic book that follows that movie. We don't have a novel. We don't have a game. We have nothing. The story ends there. And from what we all can see, Batman and Catwoman finally end up together. There's no other reason for us to sit here and think otherwise, because we're not given any other details other than the satisfying ending of seeing them together. But once again, if this was a comic book, you could already bet your entire life savings that they would have ruined that within a couple of comic book issues. Brown Destroyer. Catwoman, Batman doesn't work in my opinion. Maybe Zatanna should replace her. Catwoman works best when she is a casual one-night stand of Batman, and Batman puts her arse behind bars in spite of that. She is best as a criminal. Well, there you go. There's another love interest of Batman and Zatanna, but this is another comment I saw a lot of. The fact that people are tired of her as this anti-hero, just make her a villain once again. Maybe Catwoman is simply a character who never truly, deep down in her heart, never wants to change who she is. Maybe she likes this somewhat destructive, toxic person that she is. Batman has to come to this harsh realization. Hey, you know what? I can't help this woman because she doesn't want to help herself, and she certainly isn't going to allow me to help her. No matter what I've tried to do, it doesn't go anywhere. Mythanita. I really love her classic purple dress costume, and I think it needs to return. I'm sick of the basic catsuit. Literally every badass superheroine has one. I do hear you, considering that a lot of characters in these worlds have some sort of suit or costume that makes them stand out, and Catwoman's flair has certainly dumbed down over the years. It is just simply a black outfit with some mini cat ears that signify, oh, that's Catwoman. I would like to see the return of the purple suit, and you could absolutely make it a lot more modern the way everyone else's costumes look today. It doesn't look outdated, it doesn't look old. You could do a dark purple, you could do a little bit of, not a brighter, but a shinier purple, make her stand out a little bit more. What I will say is absolutely not the purple outfit from the Long Halloween series. As much as I love those comic books, it is absolutely a top 5 comic series in my books. The art style in that series is unique. I don't want to say it's bad because I'm not a good artist and I could never even draw how Tim Sale draws, but it is definitely a unique look. The way he pretty much draws everything. And Catwoman in that comic book, that outfit, no thank you. I do not like that one. But the other purple outfit that she used to have, yes, I'm all for that. Alright guys, now it's time for my hot take on the character of Catwoman, and it's pretty simple. I think she should have 9 lives. And I know Catwoman has no abilities, she doesn't have powers, but even with having this type of ability, she doesn't still necessarily have powers, she just kind of has a cop-out. So when Catwoman dies, she maybe comes back to life within a couple of minutes. And I'm not exactly sure what story I would craft up to give her this supernatural 9-life ability. You could even do something where maybe within the early parts of Batman and Catwoman's relationship, friendship, something happens and he literally sees her die. And then within a couple of minutes, she all of a sudden resurrects and she's up and running and she goes, all right, 8 lives left. But there you go, guys. There is some unpopular opinions and hot takes on Catwoman, and a lot of them which centered around her relationship with Batman, which in a lot of ways, maybe this is a hot take, but it is a little unfortunate that that is what Catwoman's character has been centered down to, is just her relationship with Batman. And I think comic book writers have to do a better job at making her more interesting, giving her her own things, and not having her rely on a relationship status. But guys, if you didn't get the chance to put your unpopular opinions in the community post, be sure to put them in the comments of this video. I will be posting the next character on the community post soon, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. But that is all I have for you on this one, and I hope you all enjoyed the video, everyone. And until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.